it is Nancy Taylor here, and in this video we are going over exactly what I would do if I was starting to teach online today. 5 years ago, I was looking for work from home and I fell into teaching online, and it has been the best journey. It has been such a blessing to me, and so with the experience I've had and with the community that I've been able to build and connect with, I feel like I have a lot of advice for those that are getting started today. I've had other teachers reach out and ask me, what would you recommend, or what would you do if you were starting? I've also had others comment on YouTube and ask the same question. So in this video, we are going over exactly what I would do if I was starting to teach online today, wanting to work from home. And there are so many options that I'm really excited to dive into this video. Now, this video might be a perfect fit for you, or maybe you know of someone who's wanting to work from home, who's wanting to teach, specifically teach from home, and this could be a good video that you recommend to them. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. Number one, you have to research the companies. So there are so many companies now. When I started with VIPKid, and there were not a lot of companies. I found it on Indeed.com. I thought it was too good to be true because all of a sudden I was getting paid to work from home. I had tried three other companies. They weren't online ESL companies, but they were work from home jobs. It was like $13 a week for this contracted position to do all this admin work. It was just not worth it. And so when I fell into teaching English as a second language online, specifically for VIPKid is where I started, I was just blown away. I was so excited I had to share it with everyone. And since that, so 5 years ago, many companies have popped up and there's different platforms, different solutions, just so many options that it can be overwhelming. So you might have fallen into the rabbit hole of what should I do? There's so many things to do, or maybe you have like shiny object syndrome where you're doing something and then, oh, they're doing that, I wanna try. Okay, so we wanna make sure that we stay focused on not only what you qualify to teach for, but what is a good fit for you. So I have a video, I'll link it in the description box, and I also put it in the iCard. Put it somewhere. I'll put it somewhere for you so that you can check it out, but it's the top companies that I currently recommend. So if you're confused or unsure on where you want to start, I also have a guide that will connect you to a coach. They're all free. These are all free resources. I want you to use them so that you can have an easier journey than I did, because I was just figuring things out, and I wish that I had a mentor or someone who had made a video like this that showed me exactly what path to take. As you're researching the companies, just a couple that have been on my radar recently: Zebra English. I have several of my own teacher students that work for them and love that company. Gogokid's been on my radar. Again, I said I worked for VIPKid. It was a very positive experience. There are many companies. Something that you want to pay attention to is there a minimum on hours that I have to teach a week? This is something very important to me because I want to be able to open up slots 2 weeks before. It intimidates me to have a consistent schedule where I'm live teaching when I'm home by myself with 2 little kids that depend on me. Cancellation policies, those are things that I want to be aware of with the specific company. Also pay, because with the pay, I wanna make sure that it is worth the time and energy and the effort to lesson plan. I wanna make sure that my teaching expertise is valued and that I see that it valued at what I think it should be valued. Valued. So those are things I want to pay attention to. A lot of teachers started with Outschool in March of 2020 and it exploded, and then maybe the bookings slowed down a bit. But I also see that as a great option because you get to build the skills to build a brand of your own, to build an audience, to create curriculum. So Outschool gives you a lot more freedom and then just takes a chunk of your revenue. They take 30%, but you are building the skills, and that's what each of these companies will give you tools, not only to learn how to teach online, give you experience in branding, give you experience in engagement with the online camera, whatever it may be. You are learning skills that you're just gonna take in your backpack. Hey, let's go to this next adventure. You gotta take those with you, which is amazing. Okay, so first do your research, pick one company, don't do all of them. Now, down the road, maybe you'll have 2 or 3 that you work for, and I recommend that because if I only rely on one source of income, if that contract's taken away, if I have too many teacher no-shows, if I have too many IT issues, any of that, like, I don't wanna rely solely on one source of income. Make sure that you have multiple sources of income, and that could be multiple companies. Number 2, do you like how I turned you? Like that subtle change in background? I'm laughing because I literally was like, number 2, okay. Number 2, you want to find a mentor. Now there is a learning curve, whether you are already teaching, maybe you're teaching in the mainstream classroom, maybe you've taught in Sunday school, or maybe you've taught for your community, whatever it may be, there is a learning curve to not only teaching online, but specifically for if it's ESL, there's a learning curve, or maybe it's just the online aspect. How do I now engage my students online? It's a little bit different. There is a learning curve. So accept that and say, yes, I need a coach to help me. So you can find either a mentor that works for that company. Again, I have those coaches linked in that guide, the free guide, for you to look at and use if you're feeling lost at all. So you can see which company is a good fit. It has a blurb of the company, and then it will tell you a coach that you can reach out to. Now, your mentor is not only going to help you with that learning curve of learning the strategies and learning how to teach for that specific platform, but they also should be educated in the application process. So knowing, okay, here's the first step, the second step, not just to hold your hand, but just to give you that confidence and reassurance that you're in the right place. And I wish that I had a mentor when I started. I figured it all out on my own, but I feel like the standard for qualifying to teach for the companies was not even close to where it is now. It was like, yep, we'll take you. You speak English? Sweet. And now it's like very thorough, very intense rubrics. I have been on the other side of doing interviews. I have done trainings. And so I know exactly what they're expecting and what they're looking for. And it is very thorough. So just make sure that you look for a mentor. Don't stop and say, oh, it's too hard. I can't do it. There's too many expectations of me. No, take on the challenge because you can do it. You most definitely can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You just need a mentor. Step number 3 is to become familiar with the best strategies and teaching practices. Teaching. We're back here to the first background, and this is a plant. If you're like, what? It's a plant, okay. So make sure that you are familiar with the best practices to teach online. I'm going to give you 5 right here, but I just wanna let you know, I have an entire 10 video series here on this YouTube channel that goes through the teaching strategies, the best practices, all for free. So I'll leave it linked below for you, just so you know it's very simple to go through and see exactly what those strategies are. So you do have a little bit of homework. Again, this falls into learning how to teach online and the best way to teach for your specific student. So number 1 is your setup. I need to make sure that I have a good setup. So you can have an external webcam or you can have your built-in webcam. I would have a headset that has this little bad boy, ding, and then it like puts it right in front of your mouth so they can hear you so much better. It doesn't pick up all the background noise if baby wakes up. And then I also need to make sure I have good lighting. So whether I have a lamp that I start with and it has a white shade, or maybe you invest in lighting, that's something where I would invest. And you can get photography lights. Again, I have all my equipment. I always leave it linked below my videos, but that's something that I would purchase as you get going. But could I start with what I already have? Yeah, put a lamp in front of you, not a direct light bulb. Have it masked with some sort of paper. Is that a fire hazard? Some sort of parchment. Just have a white shade on it, okay? And then you can go from there. Now, you also wanna make sure that you have good internet. This can be something that could give you anxiety if you're like, I don't know, they can't hear me, my internet's out. It could really cause a to your classes. You could be like, it was the worst class ever because your internet was causing issues. So call up your internet, ask what your download and upload speeds are, and make sure that it's up to par with the company that you're teaching for, okay? Check, check, check. Number 2 is to know the teaching strategies. Again, I have that playlist of 10 videos that go over ESL teaching strategies as well as technology and engagement, all that good stuff. So make sure I know the teaching strategies. Now let's say that I'm not teaching English as a second language, I'm teaching a class on Outschool. I need to understand the strategies for teaching online. So I need to understand, I need to stay inside the screen. I need to have engagement high five. I need to utilize the chat box. So it's a little bit different than when I'm in the mainstream classroom and I can walk around and check small groups. Oh, on the Zoom classroom, they're in breakout rooms and I get to go check in and poke in and ask questions. But I definitely need to practice. I need to become familiar with the online teaching strategies. Number 3 is to know your learners. So will you be working with K through 6? Will you be working with high school students? Will you be working with language learners? I need to know that because if I'm working with language learners, ESL students that are learning English as a second language, I need to learn those strategies strategies, to speak slow, to use props, to use nonverbal communication with my hands doing this cucaracha. I need to make sure that I understand those strategies specific for my learner. Let's say that I have a learner that I'm teaching a beginner level, or I'm teaching intermediate or advanced. I need to make sure that I understand my learner's needs. This can happen with a pre-assessment. Something I love to do when I get into the classroom is to ask a question about the topic. So if it was about, let's say, animals, and it was about Arctic animals, I would say, do you know what an Arctic animal is? And if it was a young student, I would use TPR. Do you know what an Arctic animal is? And then I would see if they know. Now, if it was maybe a student that speaks English, I would ask in the chat box, show me on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about drawing with pencil? So it's a class, we're teaching sketching. I would ask them, 5, you feel really good about it. 1, you're just getting started, but you wanna build this skill. So let me know in the chat box, where are you at today? So pre-assessment is so beautiful because I immediately know where my learner's at. Now, are they always going to be accurate? No, there can be pre-assessments or an actual test that you can use, but that's just something that you can utilize right before you get going, because sometimes you are not repeat seeing the same student. It might be a new student every week. And that's okay, because you're learning, they're learning, and that's all that matters. Number 4 is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. I ran my first Zoom session in January. That's a year ago, because now it's January 2021. It was January 2020. And I remember being so overwhelmed. Like, I thought I was just gonna jump on you there. I've been teaching online, but it was a new platform that I had not practiced. I didn't know how to accept people in the waiting room. People were like raising their hand. I was like, how do I put their hand down? I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't make that mistake again. I made it once. And I was like, I'm gonna go read all the tutorials on Zoom. I'm going to go practice. I'm gonna call up my family. Hey, you, and you, we're going on Zoom, because I'm gonna put you in breakout rooms and we're gonna practice. So make sure that you practice. Don't just wing it and say, oh, I've taught for 30 years. I got this. I had that terrible mindset. I've already taught online for 4 years. I can do this. It was a different platform, and it would have run so much smoother had I practiced. I had to reschedule that session and say, I apologize. I'm going to reschedule this. There were 100 teachers I was training in there, and I rescheduled or added a bonus one because I felt like I didn't do an adequate job of teaching because I was struggling with the platform. I'm so overwhelmed. What's going on? Chat box, this, bleh. Okay, practice. Another thing when you're practicing, make sure I'm in the screen. Make sure I'm aware of the features. I'm aware the chat box is going on. I'm aware of the PowerPoint, how to show the PowerPoint, how to move things on the PowerPoint. If I'm able to do that on that platform, become familiar. Will it get easier with time? Will I learn the platform better and learn other things that can enhance that classroom? Yes. You don't need to learn them from day one. All you need to be familiar with is the basics. Number 5, and the most important part, is to have fun. Don't forget to have fun. If you are not having fun during the process, the journey, then the end result is not going to be that rewarding. It's not going to be very fun. It's going to be like, oh, I made it. Okay, now what? Yeah, you got to keep doing that. So enjoy the journey, enjoy learning, enjoy practicing, enjoy setting everything up, because if you're not enjoying it, you're going to stay in that mindset and that blah, even once you hit, like, I'm a teacher now and I have a full schedule and all that good stuff. So make sure that you have fun. Step number 4 is to start. So once you choose your company, you have found a mentor, and then you've done your research, your practice, you're practicing to go through the application process, you get to number 4 where you get to start. So you apply for the company, you may do a demo for the company, you may send an interview video for the company. They're all very similar. After you've worked for 1 or 2 or 3 companies, you're like, oh, that just works for that one too, which is quite nice because you can carry those skills. Remember the backpack? Yeah, come on, let's go skills that I learned from the other company. I'm gonna take you with me to my next adventure. So again, no shiny object. I'm not switching all the time, but I want to make sure that I recognize that what I'm doing right now, where I'm at right now, is only going to enhance where I'm going to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. All right, guys, now that we have gone over each of those steps to start teaching online, that is the exact journey that I would take. And if you're wondering, but which company should I choose? What should I do? I can't tell you the exact company for you because there is a good fit for each person. If I don't have have a bachelor's degree, I might be with a different company than someone who does. So I could teach on Outschool without a bachelor's degree, but I could not teach for VIPKid. Or perhaps I don't want to have a set schedule, like Wells English has a set schedule that I would have to commit to. And so maybe I would go with Gogokid, where I don't have a set schedule. Or maybe I want to teach small group and I go to Magic Ears. Okay, I'm just throwing out all these things that could change with time. When you're watching this video, they're probably like all changed. But I just need to make sure I find a good fit for me, and then just commit to it, go for it, and move forward, and you won't regret it. Now, if you're looking for a complete training on teaching ESL, English as a second language online, I have my foundational course. It is currently 20% off. So you wanna go check the dates for when that's available for 20% off down in the description box. It has 20 videos that walk you through from start, your setup, like in detail. I show you exactly what to use, how to do it, and then it walks you through the teaching strategies specifically for those that are teaching English as a second language. And specifically online, you can also cater the strategies and tips for in the mainstream classroom, but I specifically talk to online teachers. And then it sets you up with branding, with getting bookings, with technology, all that good stuff, engagement. I give you tools for rewards, just all of it. How to handle parents, positive feedback, discipline, it's all in there. It's all in there and you get access to all of it immediately. So if you want that, it's a 4-hour training, which you don't have to knock out in one day, okay? Because that's a long time. So that's 20% off if you want to check it out. Linked below. If this video was helpful for you, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. That really helps me out in knowing what videos are helpful for you. It also helps my channel out. I really appreciate it. I love making this free content, and that allows me to continue making it. When you show up, when you give me likes, when you give the comments below, that allows me to continue to share this free content. So I'm so grateful for you being here and taking the time to do that. Now, if you are interested in the next steps of this teacher business journey, you'll see this image here, bing, 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 bing. We talked about teaching online, starting with the company, building the skills there, and I am going to be sharing with you the entire teacher business journey in the next video. So if you're like, whoo, what does that mean? This is where you get to go beyond teaching for a company. You get to build a brand of your own, set prices of your own. The sky is the limit. Income, impact, influence, all of those things are bing, enhanced. So I'm going to go over the exact journey to make that happen. So make sure you check out the next video. Bye. Don't forget to be happy. Choose to be happy. Not just to be, but choose to be happy. Okay, bye.